So let's review the components that the template created for us. We can see that we have an export class orders, and that's the class that we're going to write our business logic in. We can see here that we have a const of the API URL that will be used later when we need to get data. We can see that we have the template over here. And the template is the HTML that this component is going to use, and you can do some very cool things with it, which we'll do in a second. But these settings are from Angular, allowing us to inject things and to do things. Learn more about Angular and TypeScript. I strongly recommend it. And on top, we are importing several objects that we want. We're importing the component on init and injectable from Angular core. And we are importing everything in utils as utils and everything in models as models, and we will look at it later. So let's start seeing what does Angular does to us that wasn't done before. So in our class, I'm going to add a member, and I'm going to say title is equal to the title. And in the template, I can write the following syntax. Curly brackets or twice, and then here I can say title. Let's see what happens when we reload the page. We can see the title set over here. What happened? The data over here was generated by Angular based on our orders controller. Okay, which is kind of nice. It takes the data from our logic and places it in our view, in our HTML. Let's make this a bit more interesting. Let's add an input. Into that input, we're going to say ng model is title. Now, let's go ahead and refresh our page. So we can see the title. Now, the fun thing about it is that Angular actually takes care of recompute for you. So I can do things like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you can see that when I update my input, it automatically refreshes the second value. So the first thing we get from Angular is actually a pretty cool recompute engine that just works between the code, between our controller or component, and between our view. And we can actually make this interesting. Let's go ahead and put the title on top in the H1, so it would look cool. And also let's add here parens with the title.length. Okay, cool. So let's refresh it. We can see that the length is 9. I'll add a space, it will become 10. And I can do some very cool things with it, and you can see that it responds very, very well to whatever it is I'm doing. So Angular gives me that two-way binding between my UI and my controller or component, as Angular calls it. And it's doing so with a lot of ease. Let's see what we have here in terms of the changes that we needed to do to get this done. We've added a member over here. Okay, we gave it a value. And in our template, we specified those curly brackets to specify data that comes from the logic, from the component to the view. And we specified the ng model setting here on the input to set a two-way binding, that whenever I change something in the UI, it will change the controller or the component, and when I change it in the component, it will change back in the UI. Cool.